I stepped off the ship onto the bustling spaceport of Xyloth Prime, adjusting my uniform and trying not to look as overwhelmed as I felt. The air was thick with the scent of burning plasma and the incessant chatter of dozens of alien species. Xylothians, with their bioluminescent skin and 6 arms, were arguing with a trader whose fur bristled in irritation. Welcome to intergalactic diplomacy, human style. "Ambassador Ryan, we have your quarters ready," said Lyra, my Xylothian aide. Her skin glowed a soft blue, a sign of calm. "For now." "Thanks, Lyra. Let's get this show on the road," I replied, forcing a smile. Inside, my stomach churned like I'd just eaten a bad space burrito. We made our way through the port, dodging hovercarts and more aliens than I could count. Xyloth Prime was the epicenter of trade and diplomacy in this sector, and it showed. The place was a zoo, but instead of animals, you had beings from 1,000 worlds. The port itself was a marvel of architecture, with towering spires of translucent material that shifted colors with the angle of the sun. Each structure seemed to hum with energy, powered by advanced fusion reactors. Xylothian engineers had perfected the art of blending technology and aesthetics, creating a spaceport that was both functional and breathtakingly beautiful. "What's our first order of business?" I asked, as we entered a sleek, transparent elevator that zipped us up to the diplomatic quarters. "Meeting with the Galthraxian delegation. They're not happy about the new trade routes," Lyra said. "Fantastic. Nothing like starting off with an angry lizard people conference," I muttered. Lyra's glow shifted to a concerned yellow. "Is everything all right, Ambassador?" "Yeah, Lyra, just peachy. Let's go dazzle some lizards." The Galthraxians were not what I expected. Tall, scaly, and perpetually annoyed, their leader, Threx, was a particularly fine specimen. He glared at me as we sat across the negotiation table, his tongue flicking in and out. "Human, you have disrupted our trade routes," Threx hissed. I smiled, hoping it didn't look as fake as it felt. "Threx, we're not here to disrupt. We're here to enhance. Think of it as a reroute to prosperity." Threx's eyes narrowed. "Prosperity for whom?" "For everyone. Look, we humans have a saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. We want to lift your boats, or spaceships too." Threx's tail lashed behind him, but he was listening. That was something. "You think your human wisdom applies here?" "Absolutely," I said, leaning forward. "We've been uniting our own diverse cultures for centuries. We can help yours too. Imagine Galthraxian spices reaching new markets, Galthraxian tech being adopted galaxy-wide, all because of a few adjustments." Threx's glare softened by a fraction. "We will consider your proposal, but do not mistake our consideration for agreement." "Wouldn't dream of it," I said, smiling genuinely this time. "Thanks for hearing us out." As we left the meeting room, Lyra glanced at me, her skin now a calm green. "That went better than expected." "I'll take a Galthraxian consideration over an outright refusal any day," I replied. "Let's move on to the next item on the agenda." After surviving the Galthraxians, it was time for some R&R. Lyra insisted I experience a Xylothian cultural festival. It seemed like a good way to build some bridges, and hey, who doesn't love a good party? The festival was a sensory overload. Lights flashed in vibrant patterns, and music that defied human comprehension blasted from all directions. Xylothians danced in intricate formations, their bioluminescence creating a living light show. The city itself was a marvel. Hovering walkways crisscrossed above us, connecting spires and domes in a complex web. Gardens floated in midair, filled with plants that shimmered with an inner light. Xylothians took great pride in their city, and it showed in every meticulously crafted detail. "Try this," Lyra said, handing me a glowing drink. It smelled like a mix of citrus and engine coolant. "Bottoms up," I said, taking a cautious sip. Surprisingly, it tasted fantastic, like a cosmic mojito. I downed the rest, feeling a pleasant warmth spread through me. "Good, right?" Lyra asked, her skin pulsing with the beat of the music. "Not bad at all," I replied, joining in the dance. I probably looked like a malfunctioning robot, but the Xylothians didn't seem to mind. They cheered and danced harder, pulling me into their rhythm. By the end of the night, I felt a connection to these people. Sure, they were aliens with their own customs and quirks, but at the heart of it, they weren't so different from us. Maybe this diplomacy thing wasn't so impossible after all. Just as I was starting to feel good about our chances, disaster struck. An emergency call came through in the middle of the night. The Galthraxians had intercepted a human cargo ship, accusing it of smuggling weapons. I rushed to the command center, Lyra at my side. The room was a hive of activity, screens flashing urgent messages and diplomats arguing in a dozen languages. "What the hell happened?" I demanded. "A misunderstanding," said Admiral Carr, the human fleet commander. "The ship was carrying mining equipment, but the Galthraxians think it's for building weapons." "Great, just great," I said, rubbing my temples. "Can we get Threx on the line?" After some tense moments, Threx appeared on the main screen, looking more irate than usual. "Your ship violated our space, human." "Threx, it was a mistake. The cargo is mining equipment. We have the manifest to prove it," I said. "We do not trust your documents. The ship will be impounded and the crew detained," Threx hissed. I took a deep breath. "Threx, let's not escalate this. How about we send a neutral party to inspect the cargo? If it's weapons, we'll back off. If it's mining gear, you release the ship." Threx considered this, his eyes narrowing. "Very well, but any deceit will be met with force." "No deceit, Threx, just cooperation," I assured him. The command center was a state-of-the-art facility, with holographic displays showing the positions of ships, trade routes, and political borders. It was a testament to the Xylothians' technological prowess and their commitment to maintaining peace and order in this volatile sector of the galaxy. The inspection team was a mix of humans, Xylothians, and representatives from other allied species. We met at the impounded ship, a tense silence hanging over us. Threx watched from a distance, his soldiers ready for trouble. The team boarded the ship and began their work. Hours dragged by as they checked every crate and container. Finally, the lead inspector, a Xylothian named Rax, emerged. "It is as you said, Ambassador, mining equipment," Rax announced. Threx's face was unreadable as he approached. "You were honest, human." "We usually are," I replied with a smirk. "So, can we release the ship and call it a day?" Threx nodded. "The ship and crew will be released. But remember, human, our trust is hard to earn." "And easy to lose. Got it," I said, extending a hand. Threx hesitated before shaking it, his grip firm and scales rough. The inspection process was thorough, involving advanced scanning devices and manual checks. Each piece of equipment was catalogued and verified, leaving no room for doubt. It was a meticulous process, but necessary to build trust between our species. With the crisis averted, it was time to solidify our new understanding. Threx and I sat down for another meeting, this time with a more relaxed atmosphere. He even brought some Galthraxian ale, which tasted like liquid fire but packed a pleasant punch. "Your proposal for trade routes," Threx began. "It has potential, but we need guarantees." "Fair enough," I said, sipping the ale and trying not to cough. "How about joint patrols? Galthraxian and human ships working together to secure the routes." Threx considered this, his tongue flicking thoughtfully. "Agreed. And cultural exchanges. Our people need to understand each other better." "Absolutely. We'll set up exchange programs, start with some festivals, and move on to more formal education and training exchanges." Threx's eyes glinted with what I hoped was approval. "Your ways are strange, human but effective. Perhaps there is more to your species than we thought." "We have our moments," I said with a grin. "Here's to a new alliance, Threx. May it be the first of many." As we toasted to our new partnership, I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, humanity could carve out a place in this vast alien galaxy. One step at a time. The next step was presenting to our newfound alliance to the Galactic Council. The Council was a sprawling assembly of representatives from hundreds of species, each with their own agendas and interests. Convincing them to support our alliance would be no small feat. The Council chamber was a grandiose hall, with seats arranged in concentric circles around a central podium. Holographic displays floated above, showing data and images from across the galaxy. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as Threx and I took the stage. Honored members of the Galactic Council, I began, my voice steady despite the tightness in my stomach. Today, we stand at the threshold of a new era of cooperation and unity. The Galthraxian Empire and humanity have forged a new alliance, one based on mutual respect and shared goals. Threx stepped forward, his presence commanding. This alliance is not just about trade routes or military patrols. It is about understanding and collaboration. We have seen that despite our differences, we can work together for the greater good of all species. There was a murmur of approval from the council members. One by one, representatives stood to voice their support or concerns. The debates were intense, but gradually, a consensus began to form. In the end, the council voted overwhelmingly in favor of supporting our alliance. It was a historic moment, marking the beginning of a new chapter in galactic diplomacy. The success of our presentation called for a celebration. The Xylothians hosted a grand banquet in our honor, inviting dignitaries from across the galaxy. The banquet hall was adorned with shimmering decorations, and the air was filled with the tantalizing aroma of exotic dishes. As we mingled with guests, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. We had achieved something remarkable, something that would have seemed impossible just a few weeks ago. Lyra approached, her skin glowing with excitement. "Ambassador, you did it! The council is fully behind the alliance." I grinned, raising my glass. To new beginnings, Lyra, and to many more victories ahead. We clinked glasses, and the celebration continued long into the night. Music and laughter filled the air, and for the first time, I felt truly optimistic about the future. With the alliance formalized, it was time to put our plans into action. Our first joint mission was a patrol of the new trade routes, with human and Galthraxian ships working side by side. It was a symbolic gesture, but also a practical one, showing our commitment to maintaining peace and security. I boarded the Galthraxian flagship, the Cathan, and was greeted by Threx. "Welcome aboard, Ambassador! Ready to show the galaxy what we can do?" "Absolutely," I replied, shaking his hand. "Let's make history." The patrol went smoothly, with both crews working together seamlessly. It was a testament to the power of cooperation and the potential of our alliance. As we navigated through the trade routes, I felt a sense of camaraderie and unity that transcended species. As our patrol came to an end, I stood on the bridge of the Cathan, gazing out at the stars. The galaxy was vast and full of challenges, but also opportunities. We had taken the first step towards a brighter future, one where different species could come together and build something greater than themselves. Threx joined me, his expression thoughtful. "This is just the beginning, human. There's much work to be done." "I know," I said, nodding. "But we're ready. Together, we can achieve anything." As we stood there side by side, I felt a renewed sense of purpose. The journey ahead would not be easy, but with allies like Threx and the support of the Galactic Council, I was confident that we could overcome any obstacle. And so, with hope in my heart and determination in my step, I prepared for the next chapter of our adventure. The galaxy awaited, and we were ready to face it head-on.